Hi all, welcome to our revision session. Let's start. Nutrition, types of nutrition, autotrophic nutrition, photosynthesis, byproduct oxygen, heterotrophic nutrition, human digestive system, digestive path, saliva, stomach, liver, pancreas, small intestine, respiration, aerobic respiration, anaerobic respiration, ATP, human respiratory system, alveolar adaptations, transportation in human beings, components, blood components, human heart, blood vessels, transportation plants, excretion in human beings, nephron, artificial kidneys, excretion plants, most important one-liners. Functional unit of kidneys, nephron. Filtration occurs in glomerulus. Filtrate collected by Bowman's capsule. Urine stored in urinary bladder. Oxygen carrier, hemoglobin, powerhouse of the cell, mitochondria, water transport in plants, xylem. Food transport in plants, phloem. Fat digestion starts in small intestine. Artificial kidney process, hemodialysis. Gas exchange site, alveoli, energy currency, ATP, photosynthesis byproduct oxygen, excess water removed by plants, transpiration. Which of the following is the functional unit of kidney? Nephron. The nephron is the structural and functional unit of kidney. It filters blood, reabsorbs useful substances, and helps from urine. Each kidney contains millions of nephrons working together. Which blood vessel carries blood containing wastes to the kidney for filtration? Renal artery. The renal artery carries blood containing urea, excess salts, and excess water to the kidneys. The kidneys filter this blood and remove wastes. The cleaned blood vessels, the cleaned blood leaves the kidney through the renal vein. Which part of the digestive system secretes bile juice? Bile juice is secreted by liver. The liver produces bile juice, which is stored in the gallbladder. Bile helps in the emulsification of fats, breaking large fat globules into small droplets. This makes it easier for lipase enzyme to digest fats in small intestine. Which structure in the lungs provide a large surface area for exchange of gases? Alveoli. The alveoli are tiny air sacs present in the lungs. They provide a very large surface area for the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Their thin walls and rich blood supply makes gas exchange rapid and efficient. During photosynthesis, plants takes in carbon dioxide and water. During photosynthesis, plants absorb carbon dioxide from the air and water from the soil. In the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, these are converted into glucose. Oxygen is released as a byproduct. Which of the following components, blood components, is responsible for transporting oxygen? WBCs, platelets, plasma, RBCs. RBCs. The RBCs contains a red pigment called hemoglobin. Hemoglobin binds with oxygen in the lungs and transports it to all body cells. A deficiency of hemoglobin can cause anemia, weakness, and fatigue. What is the main function of phloem in plants? Transport food from leaves to other parts. Yes. Transport food from leaves to other parts. Three-line explanation. Phloem transport the food, mainly sugars prepared in the leaves during photosynthesis. Food can move upward as well as downward through phloem. Unlike xylem, phloem transport requires energy, ATP. In which part of the nephrons does filtration of blood takes place? Filtration takes place in glomerulus. The glomerulus is a cluster of tiny blood vessels, blood capillaries present inside the Bowman's capsule. It filters water, salt, glucose, amino acids, and urea from the blood. Blood cells and large proteins do not pass through filtration membrane. Which of the following is the site of complete digestion of food in humans? Complete digestion takes place in large intestine, small intestine. The small intestine is the main site where digestion is completed. Bile from the liver and enzyme from the pancreas act here to digest fats, proteins, and carbohydrates. The digested food is then absorbed through the villi present in the small intestine. Which process removes excess water from plants? Transpiration. Transpiration is the loss of water as water vapor from the aerial parts of the plants, mainly through stomata. It helps remove excess water and creates a transpiration pool that aids water transport in xylem. It also helps in cooling the plant. Which chamber of the heart has the thickest muscular wall? Left ventricle. The left ventricle pumps oxygenated blood to the entire blood body through the aorta. It has the thickest vascular wall because it must generate high pressure. The right ventricle only pumps blood to the lungs, so its wall is thinner. What is the role of hemoglobin in the blood? Hemoglobin carries oxygen. Hemoglobin is a red pigment present in the RBCs. It combines with oxygen in the lungs and transport it to all body tissues. Low hemoglobin levels reduce oxygen transport and can cause anemia. Which of the following is not a function of the excretory system? Removal of urea, removal of excess water, removal of carbon dioxide by kidneys, removal of excess salts. Removal of carbon dioxide by kidneys. Carbon dioxide is removed from the body by the lungs, not by the kidneys. The kidneys remove urea, uric acid, excess water, and excess salts from the blood. And therefore, removal of carbon dioxide is a function of the respiratory system, not the excretory system. During aerobic respiration, glucose is completely broken down into carbon dioxide, water, and energy. C. Three-run explanation. In aerobic respiration, glucose is completely broken down in the presence of oxygen. This process occurs mainly in the mitochondria. It produces carbon dioxide, water, and a large amount of ATP, energy. Which of the following structures prevents the mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood in the human heart? Septum. The septum is a muscular wall that separates the right and left sides of the heart. It prevents the mixing of oxygenated blood and deoxygenated blood. This separation makes double circulation more efficient and ensures a better oxygen supply to body tissues. Which of the following is the correct sequence of food passage through the human digestive system? Mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine. G. Mouth, esophagus, stomach, small intestine. Food enters the body through the mouth where the digestion of starch begins. It then passes through the esophagus into the stomach where proteins are partially digested. Finally, it reaches the small intestine where digestion is completed and nutrients are absorbed. Which of the following substances is reabsorbed from the filtrate in the nephron? Urea, carbon dioxide, glucose, glucose, nitrogen, reabsorbed, glucose. This process occurs in the tubular part of the nephron. Reabsorption prevents the loss of essential nutrients in urine. Which part of the plant is mainly responsible for the absorption of water and minerals? Which part of the plant is mainly responsible for the absorption of water and minerals from the soil? Root hairs. Root hairs are tiny extensions of root epidermal cells that increase the surface area for absorption. They absorb water and minerals from the soil. The absorbed water and minerals are then transported to the rest of the plant through xylem. Which blood vessel carries oxygenated blood from the lungs to the heart? Which blood vessel carries oxygenated blood from the lungs to the heart? Pulmonary vein. The pulmonary vein carries oxygenated blood from lungs to the left atrium of the heart. It is an exception because most veins carry deoxygenated blood. The pulmonary artery is another exception, carrying deoxygenated blood from the heart to lungs. During photosynthesis, the gas released as a byproduct is oxygen. During photosynthesis, plants use carbon dioxide and water to make glucose. Water molecules are split and oxygen is released as a byproduct. This oxygen is released into the atmosphere and is essential for the survival of most living organisms. Which of the following structures contains chlorophyll and traps sunlight for photosynthesis? Chloroplast. Chloroplasts are green organelles found in plant cells. They contain chlorophyll, the pigment that absorbs sunlight. Photosynthesis takes place inside chloroplasts, where food is prepared for the plant. Which of the following is the site of ATP production in a cell? Mitochondria. Mitochondria are called the powerhouses of the cell. They release energy from food during aerobic respiration and produces ATP. ATP is the energy currency of the cell, used for all cellular activities. In which part of the digestive system is hydrochloric acid HCl secreted? HCl is secreted in stomach. The stomach secretes hydrochloric acid HCl along with the digestive juices. HCl creates an acidic medium required for the action of the enzyme pepsin. It also helps kill many harmful microorganisms present in food. Which of the following helps in the clotting of blood? Platelets. Platelets are tiny cell fragments present in the blood. They help in blood clotting when a blood vessel is injured. Clotting prevents excessive blood loss and helps the wound heal. Which of the following is the correct pathway of blood during pulmonary circulation? Heart to lungs. Heart to body to heart. Okay. The correct answer is heart to lungs to heart. The pulmonary circulation is the movement of blood between the heart and the lungs. Deoxygenated blood goes from the heart to the lungs to pick up oxygen. Oxygenated blood then returns from the lungs back to the heart. So the correct answer was heart to lungs to heart. Which of the following is responsible for the upward transport of water in plants? Xylem. The xylem transports water and dissolved minerals from the roots to the leaves. The upward movement is aided by transpiration pull, root pressure, and cohesion of water molecules. Xylem vessels are mainly made of dead cells forming continuous tubes. Which of the following is the first product formed when glucose breaks down during respiration? Pyruvate. During respiration, glucose is first broken down in the cytoplasm into a 3-carbon compound called pyruvate. This step occurs whether respiration is aerobic or anaerobic. Pyruvate is then further broken down to form carbon dioxide and water. Aerobic or lactic acid or ethanol, anaerobic. Which of the following structures increases the surface area for absorption of digested food in the small intestine? Villi. Villi are tiny finger-like projections present in the inner lining of the small intestine. They greatly increase the surface area available for absorption of digested food. Each villus contains blood capillaries that transport absorbed nutrients to the body. Which of the following is the main excretory product in humans? Main excretory product is urea. Three-line explanation. Urea is the major nitrogenous waste produced during the breakdown of proteins in the body. It is transported by the blood to the kidneys where it is filtered out. Urea is then removed from the body through urine. Which of the following prevents food from entering the windpipe during swallowing? Epiglottis. Yes. The epiglottis is a thin flap-like structure present at the entrance of windpipe or trachea. During swallowing, it closes the opening of trachea to prevent food from entering the respiratory tract. This ensures that food passes into the esophagus and not into the lungs. Which of the following is an example of anaerobic respiration in humans? Breakdown of glucose in mitochondria, lactic acid fermentation in muscles during vigorous exercise, photosynthesis, digestion of food in stomach. Lactic acid formation in muscles during vigorous exercise is example for anaerobic respiration in humans. When muscles do not receive enough oxygen during heavy exercise, they switch to anaerobic respiration. In this process, pyruvate is converted into lactic acid, releasing small amount of energy. Accumulation of lactic acid can cause muscle cramps and fatigue. Which of the following is responsible for the transport of food in plants? Transport of food occurs by phloem. Phloem transport the food, mainly sucrose made in the leaves, to all parts of the plant. The movement of food through phloem is called translocation. Unlike xylem transport, phloem transport requires energy or ATP and can occur in both directions. Which of the following structures carries urine from the kidney to the urinary bladder? Ureter. The ureter is a tube that carries urine from each kidney to the urinary bladder. Humans have two ureters, one from each kidney. The urinary bladder stores urine until it is expelled through the urethra. Which of the following is the correct sequence of urine flow in humans? Correct sequence of urine flow in humans. urine flow, kidney, ureter, bladder, urethra. B. Urine is formed in the kidneys after filtration and reabsorption. It travels through the ureters and is stored in the urinary bladder. Finally, urine is expelled from the body through the urethra. Why do alveoli have a large surface area? To increase the rate of exchange of gas. The lungs contain millions of alveoli, providing a very large surface area. A larger surface area allows more oxygen and carbon dioxide to diffuse at the same time. This makes gas exchange rapid and efficient, meeting the body's oxygen needs. Which of the following is responsible for the filtration of blood in the nephrons? Filtration occurs by filtration occurs by glomerulus. The glomerulus is a cluster of tiny blood capillaries present inside Bowman's capsule. Blood is filtered here under pressure, forming the glomerular filtrate. Water, salts, glucose, amino acids, and urea pass into Bowman's capsule, while blood cells and proteins remain in the blood. A person has a low hemoglobin level. Which of the following symptoms is most likely? Increased oxygen supply to tissues. Decreased oxygen supply to. Correct answer is weakness and fatigue. Hemoglobin carries oxygen from the lungs to all body cells. If hemoglobin levels are low, less oxygen reaches the tissues. This causes weakness, tiredness, fatigue, and anemia. Which of the following correctly matches the plant tissue with its function? Xylem, transport of food. Phloem, transport of water. Xylem, transport of water and minerals. Phloem, absorption of water. Xylem, transport of water and minerals. Xylem transport water and dissolved minerals from the roots to the leaves and the other parts of the plant. The movement is mainly upward and is aided by transpiration pull. Phloem, not xylem, transport food prepared during photosynthesis. Which of the following is not reabsorbed from the filtrate in a nephron? Which of the following is not reabsorbed from the filtrate in a nephron? Urea. Urea is a nitrogenous waste product that must be removed from the body. Useful substances like glucose, amino acids, salts, and most water are reabsorbed into the blood. The remaining urea stays in the filtrate and is excreted in urine. Which of the following is the main site of absorption of digested food in humans? Main site of absorption of digested food in humans is small intestine. The small intestine is the main site where digested food is absorbed into the bloodstream. It contains millions of villi which increase the surface area for absorption. Nutrients such as glucose, amino acids, fatty acids, and glycerol are absorbed here. Which of the following is responsible for preventing the mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood in humans? Septum. The septum is a muscular wall that divides the heart into right and left halves. It prevents the mixing of oxygenated blood left side and deoxygenated blood right side. This separation makes double circulation efficient and ensures maximum oxygen delivery to the body tissues. Which of the following substance is not filtered from the blood into Bowman's capsule? Which of the following substance is not filtered from the blood into Bowman's capsule? Water, glucose, blood cells, urea. Urea. No. Blood cells. C. Three-line explanation. Blood cells and large plasma proteins are too large to pass through the filtration membrane of the glomerulus. Therefore, they remain in the blood and do not enter Bowman's capsule. Only small molecules such as water, glucose, salts, amino acids and urea are filtered. What is the main function of bile juice? Emulsify fats into small droplets. Which of the following structures is responsible for the transport of oxygenated blood from the heart to the body? Which of the following structures is responsible for the transport of oxygenated blood from heart to the body? Pulmonary vein from heart to the body, oxygenated blood. Aorta. Yes. The aorta is the largest artery in the human body. It carries oxygenated blood from the left ventricle to all parts of the body. Its thick elastic walls helps withstand the high pressure of blood pumped by the heart. Which of the following correctly describes double circulation in humans? The blood passes through the heart twice in one complete cycle. Blood passes through the heart twice in one complete cycle. In double circulation, blood goes through heart, lungs, heart, body, heart. Thus, blood passes through the heart twice during one complete circulation. This prevents mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood and ensures efficient oxygen supply. Which of the following is the functional unit of lungs for gaseous exchange? Alveolus. The alveoli are tiny air sacs present at the ends of bronchioles in the lungs. They provide a huge surface area, thin walls, and rich blood supply for efficient gas exchange. Oxygen diffuses into the blood while carbon dioxide diffuses out of the blood into the alveoli. Which of the following is responsible for carrying deoxygenated blood from the body to the heart? Deoxygenated blood moves from pulmonary artery to heart. No, vena cava. The vena cava is the largest vein in the body and brings deoxygenated blood from all body parts of the heart. It opens into the right atrium of the left. From there, the blood is pumped to the lungs for oxygenation. During dialysis, nitrogenous wastes are removed from the blood by diffusion. In hemodialysis, blood flows through the tubes made of a semi-permeable membrane. Nitrogenous wastes such as urea move from the blood into dialysing fluid by diffusion. The purified blood is then returned to the patient's body. Which of the following is the main excretory organ in humans? Main excretory organ is kidneys. The kidneys are the main excretory organs of the human body. They filter blood and remove urea, excess water, excess salts to form urine. Urine is then carried through the ureters to the urinary bladder for storage. Which of the following correctly matches the organ with its primary function? Alveolar filtration of blood. Nephron gas exchange. No. Villi absorption of digested food. Yes. Xylem transport of food. No. See. Villi absorption of digested food. Villi are finger-like portions present in the small intestine. They greatly increase the surface area for the absorption of digested nutrients. The absorbed nutrients enter the blood and are transported to all body cells. Alveoli, gas exchange, not blood filtration. Nephron filtration and urine formation, not gas exchange. Xylem, transport water and minerals, not food. Which one of the following statements is correct? Which one of the following statements is correct? Phloem transports water and minerals. Urea is reabsorbed completely in the nephron. Oxygen released during photosynthesis is a waste product for plants. Pulmonary artery carries oxygenated blood. Oxygen released during photosynthesis is a waste product for plants. Three-line explanation. During photosynthesis, plants prepare food using carbon dioxide and water. Oxygen is produced as a byproduct and is released into the atmosphere. For the plant, this oxygen acts as a waste product of photosynthesis. A student observes that a person's urine contains glucose. Which part of the nephron is most likely not functioning properly? Tubular part, that is reabsorption region. Normally, all glucose is reabsorbed from the filtrate back into the blood in the nephron tubules. If glucose appears in urine, it suggests that reabsorption is not occurring properly. Therefore, the tubular part of the nephron is most likely affected. Why are blood capillaries closely associated with the alveoli? They help in rapid exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Alveoli are surrounded by a dense network of blood capillaries. Oxygen diffuses from the alveoli into the blood, while carbon dioxide diffuses from the blood into the alveoli. The close contact between alveoli and capillaries makes gas exchange fast and efficient. A person exercises vigorously and develops muscle cramps. The immediate cause is accumulation of lactic acid due to anaerobic respiration. During vigorous exercise, muscles may not receive enough oxygen for aerobic respiration. The muscles switch to anaerobic respiration producing lactic acid. Accumulation of lactic acid causes muscle cramps and fatigue. Which of the following adaptation of alveoli directly helps in faster diffusion of gases? Walls that are one cell thick, that is capillaries. The walls of alveoli are extremely thin, one cell thick, reducing the distance for gas diffusion. This allows oxygen and carbon dioxide to move quickly between air and blood. Thin walls, along with a large surface area and rich blood supply, make gaseous exchange highly efficient. A plant is losing a large amount of water through transpiration. Which tissue will transport more water from the roots to compensate for this loss? Xylem. Xylem transports water and minerals from the roots to all parts of the plant. When transpiration increases, the transpiration pulse also increases, drawing more water upward through the xylem. This helps replace the water lost through stomata. Which of the following correctly explains why double circulation is advantageous in humans? Which of the following correctly explains why double circulation is advantageous in humans? Which of the following correctly explains why double circulation is advantageous in humans? It allows mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. It supplies oxygenated blood to body tissues at high pressure and prevents mixing of blood. B. It supplies oxygenated blood to body tissues at a high pressure and prevents mixing of blood. In double circulation, oxygenated and deoxygenated blood remain completely separate. This ensures that body tissues receive fully oxygenated blood at sufficient pressure. As a result, humans can maintain a high metabolic rate and produce more energy. A patient has damage to the glomerulus, but the nephron tubules are functioning normally. Which process will be affected first? A patient has damage to the glomerulus, but the nephron tubules are functioning normally. Which process will be affected first? Filtration of blood will be affected. The glomerulus is the site where blood filtration occurs in the nephron. If the glomerulus is damaged, the formation of filtrate will be affected first. Reabsorption in the tubules can occur only after filtration has taken place. A person has a blockage in one ureter. What will be the immediate effect? Urine cannot move normally from the affected kidney to the urinary bladder. A. Yes. So guys, our revision session is completed.